Your sibling thrives, carrying the weight of duty, while you're the opposite, my father quipped, his tone teasing but slicing deep. My mother's soft laugh avoided my gaze. My brother, Liam, raised his glass, silently agreeing. He's self-sufficient, Dad boasted, louder now for the cousins settling at the table. The room carried on, but his words burrowed into me like icy thorns. The dinner should have smelled of warmth and spice, but it reeked of scorched dignity and polished wood. Forks tapped. Laughter sparked and fizzled. I stared at the gravy dish, counting my pulse to steady my shaking hands. Hey, I'm Mara, and I've known for years that silence speaks volumes. I use it until I choose another tongue. If this rings true for you, drop same in the comments. I could have let it slide. I've sipped water and swallowed flames before, but something inside me had been growing, quiet and fierce, like a hidden fruit nobody thought would ripen. Comparisons teach you to measure back eventually. Dad, I murmured, just loud enough to draw him closer. Do you truly think Liam needs no one's help? Chairs creaked. A fork froze midair. Liam's jaw clenched like he was chewing gravel. Mom's smile was the kind you give a toddler or a ticking bomb, hoping neither erupts. Facts are facts, Dad declared. Some lift, others get lifted. Right. I whispered, my word drifting like a leaf on a deeper current. I let the quiet stretch, letting the air shape my resolve. I watched the chandelier's dusk glint, a starfield ignored while everyone buried their faces in plates and phones. I thought of the past 2 years, $3,500 flowing from my account monthly, steady as a river. Liam's 2 a.m. pleas for just a little longer, until his gigs paid off. The excuses I fed my landlord about late rent. The way Dad never wondered how I managed, only why my wardrobe looked worn. I folded my napkin, precise and deliberate, done with apologies. Perfect, I said, turning to Liam. Since you're independent, my $3,500 transfer stopped today. The golden child's laugh cracked, sharp and brief. Then his phone's glow cast a stark blue-white square on the tablecloth. Overdue. Final notice. His grip tightened on his glass. Mom's smile fractured. Dad's fork clinked against his plate. Liam's eyes met mine, not the screen. Mara, he exhaled, his voice a thread already unraveling. Not tonight. The chandelier buzzed. A spoon slipped, clattering like a faint warning bell. In that charged pause between deception and its exposure, every tale we'd spun about who carried whom began to tip. The silence after my words roared louder than any argument we'd ever had. It pressed heavy on the tablecloth, muffling every clink of crystal and rustle of fabric. Liam's phone still pulsed, its harsh light a wound nobody could hide. Is this a prank? Mom murmured, her voice quivering with shock more than fury. She leaned in, her pearls catching the chandelier's warm glow, her eyes sharp as shattered glass. Mara, you don't shame your family in front of company. Shame. The word stung. All my life, I'd been the embarrassment, too quiet, too independent, too different. Liam was the star, the gleaming sun who never walked alone because my money paved his path. Shame is pretending lies are truth, I said, my voice even, though my palms sweated beneath the table. My heart thumped like a warning drum. Dad's chair scraped the floor as he leaned forward, his gaze boring into me. Think you're above your brother because you've got a steady paycheck and no dependents? You'll learn what sacrifice means when it's your turn. Sacrifice. My throat tightened. For years, I gave up weekends, vacations, even meals, fueling Liam's dreams while starving mine. But Dad called that duty, not sacrifice. Tonight I called it done. Liam spoke at last, his voice softer than I expected, his eyes flicking between me and his phone's accusing glow. I've been under strain. Payments are delayed, but I just need a bit more time. My chest ached. That pleading tone. I'd heard it too many times, and every time I'd caved. But tonight, something in me held firm. You've had time, I said gently. 2 years of it. The cousins glanced nervously. Someone coughed, trying to break the heavy air. But the tension only tightened, a bowstring ready to snap. Dad's voice cut through low and sharp. You're nothing without this family. Don't forget that. But I saw the fear in Liam's eyes. Not for my worth, but for the money. For the first time, I knew I'd been the one carrying this table. The chandelier swayed faintly, shadows slicing across faces like broken glass. My family wanted me quiet, obedient, but that shifting light felt like a signal. This dinner wasn't the end. It was the start. The plates of roasted chicken and mashed potatoes sat cold, steam fading into silence. Dad's words, "You're nothing without this family," lingered like a stubborn insect buzzing. Everyone focused on their food, as if eating faster could bury the truth. Liam cleared his throat, his voice thin. "Dad, let's talk later." His hand shook as he reached for his glass. I saw the stack of bills on his phone, glowing like a beacon warning of hidden dangers. Mom ignored him, her anger fixed on me. "Do you enjoy tearing us down, Mara? After all we've done, this is how you repay us, by pulling the rug from under your brother." Her words cut, but something stronger than pain held me steady. I leaned back, watching the family I'd propped up with silence and wire transfers. "Repay?" I asked softly. "I've been paying Mom every month. While you cheered Liam's victories, I kept his lights on." A murmur rippled through the table. The cousins, usually quick to praise Liam, shifted awkwardly. They'd sensed fragments of his truth, but never seen it exposed in the chandelier's harsh light. Dad's palms slammed the table, rattling glasses, spilling gravy. "Enough. You don't air private matters in front of family." His voice cracked like a whip, meant to silence me as it always had. But this time silence didn't fall. Liam's shoulders slumped, his golden facade slipping. "Dad, she's right," he muttered, barely audible then louder. "Without Mara, I'd have fallen apart." The room stilled. Mom's face paled, her perfect mask unraveling. Dad blinked, stunned, as if Liam had betrayed a sacred pact. For the first time, the golden child dimmed, and I saw their fear. Not of my departure, but of my voice finally breaking through. The chandelier flickered, as if the house itself sensed the storm brewing. The flicker settled, but the tremor inside me grew. Liam's confession, "I've been drowning," hung like smoke no one could dispel. It was the truth I'd carried in silence for years. Dad's jaw clenched, his control fracturing in ways I'd never witnessed. "You're exaggerating," he snapped at Liam, as if he'd committed treason. "You've always been capable. Don't pin your failures on your sister." Liam's glass sat untouched, his fingers tapping a nervous rhythm on the tablecloth. A man trapped by his own lies. Mom reached for him, her polished nails trembling. "Sweetheart, you don't owe anyone an explanation. Families support each other." Mara never grasped that. Her gaze sliced toward me, but her voice broke. I leaned forward, my voice steady, the calm before a storm. "No, Mom. Families don't drain one child to prop up another." The cousins stirred, whispers spreading like sparks. No one touched their forks. The tension tightened, a wire ready to break. Dad barked. "You think stopping your help makes you strong? It makes you selfish." Selfish. The word hit hard, but I didn't waver. I thought of extra shifts, nights balancing rent after sending Liam money, the trips I never took, the clothes I wore thin. Selfish. If this was selfish, it tasted like liberation. "I'm not stopping to harm him," I said, meeting Liam's eyes. "I'm stopping so he learns to stand without me holding him up." Liam swallowed hard, lips parting, but no words came, just the clink of his glass tipping, red wine spilling across the white cloth, a dark stain spreading like a buried truth exposed. No one moved to clean it. The stain had been there for years. The wine seeped into the tablecloth, sinking into the fabric like undeniable truth. No one reached for a napkin. No one broke the stillness. Dad turned to Liam, his voice sharp enough to cut bone. "You're saying all those accolades, all the praise I gave, were built on her money?" Liam's shoulders slumped, his silence louder than any confession. His crown had fallen, shattered at his feet. Mom's hand hovered near his, but her eyes betrayed her, flicking to me, desperate to rewrite the story. "This is family business," she hissed, her composure fraying. "And you," her gaze pinned me. "You chose tonight, with everyone here, to betray your brother." I breathed slowly, feeling the anger rise in my chest. Betrayal would have been staying silent, Mom. I chose truth. He's leaned on me for years while you celebrated a lie. Gasps erupted. A cousin pushed his chair back, mumbling about needing air. The spell of Dad's authority, Mom's perfection, Liam's untouchability, it was crumbling. Dad's fist slammed down, shaking every glass. Enough, Mara. Apologize to your brother. Now. His command roared, but I didn't tremble. My voice sliced through the storm. No. I won't apologize for refusing to sink anymore. Liam's head jerked up, eyes red, voice breaking. You don't get it. I need that money, Mara. Without it, everything collapses, the loans, the car, the apartment. And whose fault is that? I asked softly. The words hit harder than a shout. His mouth closed, shoulders sagging. The dinner turned into a stage, with relatives witnessing the strings behind the golden child. The wine stain spread, a quiet omen. This wasn't just a meal. It was the dismantling of a myth built on my silence. The room grew colder, though the candles burned bright. Their flames flickered in the draft of truth, turning the dining table into a courtroom. Every I weighed the evidence spilled across the cloth. Dad's glare pinned me like a judge. You're tearing this family apart with your spite. Spite? If spite meant carrying everyone's weight until I nearly broke, then maybe I'd earned it. I met his stare. No, Dad. I'm revealing the decay you ignored. Mom's voice shook, but her anger held. You're jealous. Always have been. That's why you work so hard to outshine Liam. But you'll never be him. Her words once could have wounded, but now they exposed her tired script. A calm settled over me, like I'd stepped out of the storm. You're right, I said. I'll never be him. I'll never live off someone else's sacrifice and call it victory. A cousin whispered, she's not wrong, thinking I wouldn't hear. But I did, and so did Liam. His face crumpled, pride buckling under the weight of truth. Please, Mara, he begged, his voice thin as ice. Just until I get back on my feet. I'll pay you back. I let the silence stretch, making him feel every broken promise. You've had years, I said softly. I gave you my trust, my money, my time. You gave me excuses. The air grew heavy with truths too sharp to swallow. For the first time, I wasn't begging for a seat at this table. Dad leaned back, fury fading in his eyes. Mom clutched her pearls, fingers trembling. Liam stared at his lap, his golden light extinguished. In that moment, I understood. This wasn't the family breaking, it was their illusion shattering. The table was no longer a place for meals. It was wreckage, smoldering with words no one could retract. Cold plates sat untouched, relics of a feast that never was. The golden boy's mask lay in pieces, and my family scrambled for excuses. Dad's voice, once commanding, turned brittle. You've made your point, Mara. But without this family, you're nothing. Nothing? The word echoed not as a threat, but as a promise of freedom. Their version of family meant me bleeding silently while they called it love. I met his gaze. If this is family, I'd rather be nothing. Mom gasped, her pearls trembling with each breath. Don't say that. Blood is everything. Without it, who are you? Her question should have broken me, but it grounded me. I'd survived every slight, every comparison. Every time they applauded Liam while ignoring the hands that held him up. I am me, I said simply. And that's enough. The cousins' whispers grew bolder, no longer hushed. Their eyes flicked between Liam and me, weighing truth against the myths they'd believed. One muttered, she carried him. We knew something was off. Liam's face paled, sweat glistening. His glass clinked as his shaking hand set it down. Please, he whispered, no longer the brother I envied, but a man laid bare. Don't abandon me like this. The words tugged at my heart, but they didn't move me. I already left, I whispered. The day you measured my worth in dollars. Silence fell, heavier than ever. Dad's lips twitched, but no words came. Mom's eyes brimmed with tears she wouldn't let fall. Liam's shoulders sank, his golden glow gone. The chandelier's light steadied, as if the house had chosen a side. And in that stillness, I felt the chains I'd worn for years break, leaving only freedom. This silence wasn't heavy with dread. It was hollow like a cracked shell. Everyone sat frozen, staring at the truth exposed on a table stained with wine and pride. Dad pushed his chair back, the wood scraping tile like a fracture in the quiet. You'll regret this, Mara, he muttered, but his voice lacked power, a shadow of the man who once ruled me. Mom looked at me as if I'd betrayed them, not sacrificed. Her lips shook, searching for words that didn't come. Liam, the brother I'd propped up with gold I paid for, couldn't meet my eyes. His shoulders slumped, his mouth forming a plea that stayed silent. I stood, my napkin falling like a surrendered banner. No, I said, calm certainty in every word. What I regret is letting this go on so long. No one stopped me as I left the table. The chandelier glowed behind me, its light now mine. Each step away shed expectations, comparisons, the weight I'd carried so they could pretend their golden child never stumbled. In the days that followed, the aftermath unfolded predictably. Relatives called, some to scold, others to quietly thank me for voicing what they couldn't. Liam's calls came too. First desperate, then angry, then silent. Dad sent messages heavy with authority I no longer heeded. Mom sent prayers, chains dressed as love. I blocked them all. I redirected every dollar once drained from my account into myself. Therapy, a small apartment with thriving plants, a business I'd dreamed of but never dared start. With each step, the truth sank deeper. Family isn't blood or duty. It's respect. And I finally gave that respect to the one person they never did, me.